3, 2, 1, tamo live.
Tamo live.
Hey! Good afternoon, America. Good evening, Ireland. How are you? So, three of us again. Sorry about you guys, but we are here. And we are bringing more details, more insights about what we want to talk here. So again, Steven, I am a worker from the Spiritism Society of Ireland. Then we have Vanderlei, he's a work as well, and Rodrigo. So for those who are joining us for the first time, we are broadcasting from Ireland, and we are opening up a bridge with the United States. And this is a way to say thank you for everything we have received from the spirits here in Ireland and in the US as well. And also the mentors from the Kardec Radio and the mentors are from SSI. Okay, so in order to start, let's do our initial prayer. So last Thursday was Rodrigo. Now, Wanderlei, can you do it for us?
Okay, yep. Let's close our eyes if you guys feel comfortable. Let's take a deep breath. We'd like to thank the mentors of the Spirit Society of Ireland. We'd like to thank the good spirits who are supporting us in these lives we are doing, who are supporting each one of us, the workers, in this quarantine. But also be even more thankful for the lives that we have and this opportunity to be here talking about Spiritism. We'd like to invite each one of us to have this reflection tonight. Maybe this study be fruitful to each one of us here. Thank God, and so be it.
Great. Okay, and what are we gonna do today? We will talk about Vanderlei gave a speech last Sunday to our SSI workers, and we broadcast this. By the way, it's on our YouTube channel and our Facebook. So Spiritism Society of Ireland. You can find this either in Facebook or as YouTube. And the title of the speech was "Understanding Our Own Storm." Right, Vanderlei?
Correct. It was based in the gospel that we have of Jesus, which is actually Jesus calming the storm, that you guys can find in Luke, Matthew, and Mark. I don't remember the parts exactly. I have it here, but I decided to talk about this topic first because I really enjoy studying the parables, because I've seen a lot of people when they are studying Spiritism, some people, they tend to stay a lot in the work of Kardec, which is amazing. We have to do it. Mm-hmm. But some Spiritists, I find that they think the Bible is old teachings, and they forget about the beauty of the Gospels, of the parables. And this parable, to me, it's a short parable where it shows how Jesus was calm in a very difficult situation. And it's a lesson to us, it's a lesson of faith, how we should react in difficult situations, such as the one that we are living now in the coronavirus, That's why I try to, in this case, I didn't give a speech properly. I was doing the speech, but more trying to study the parable itself. So I kind of went part to part, trying to use a lot of some works of the FEB, Brazilian Spiritist Federation, to try to comprehend what really the Spiritists are trying to say on this beautiful passage.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, and I would like to start. The first question I want to ask, not just it's to you two, and to everybody who are listening us today is, okay, I think we agreed we have a storm called coronavirus, but besides coronavirus, what's other storms we do have?
Rodrigo?
First of all, thank you everybody. Thank you again, America, for having us here tonight. I hope in America was the gorgeous day as was in Ireland today. And this
don't say out loud, please.
No, but we need to enjoy today because we don't know tomorrow. No, we never know in Ireland. But the first thing here, a big storm that I can see is about the relationships. Any kind of relationships sometimes can become a storm. And then a storm hard to overcome. A bit hard to understand sometimes. I will someone break up with you, and then sometimes you have that thought inside yourself, that animal part of yourself that say, okay, you break up with me, but I won't let you go that easy. And then we create a storm by our own. And sometimes it's hard to surpass that storm, even though you are spirituous, you are reading, you are praying. Sometimes it's hard because that something really hurts you. But then we create this one. So, and sometimes we are like a Peter. We know that we can overcome this. We know that we have power for that. We know the way, but we doubt that we can do it. No, I think that's one of the biggest, or one of the big storms that we create by our own. Now I want to know about our audience, what they think about as well, what they storm for them.
Yeah, please, write down here. What storms do you think you have in your life? Doesn't count coronavirus, please. Let's
take this from the account. We all have.
Yeah.
We are to talk about coronavirus now.
Yeah, I think everybody knows how to wash your hands and do not touch your face. Doing opposite what I'm doing here, but anyway.
I washed my hand before, okay, guys. So I touched my hand.
Yeah. I did wash my hands. So yeah. So Vanderlei, are you responsible for any storm in your life?
I'd say Rodrigo said something which is quite nice. That's why when I give the speech, I didn't say Jesus calming the storm. I said understand your own storm. My idea was to try to really talk much more about us, but then I start to realize that the parable itself, I mean, there is a lot of room to talk about. That's why I decided to not go to the psychological aspect. But the psychological aspect of this, once we ask which storms we have, as Rodrigo said, we have plenty. And the thing about these storms, that they are not created by nature, by something external. All the storms that we have in our life are created by our internal world, our ocean. We created all these storms. So in this case, I think we can have like storms at work where we think that everyone doesn't like us. We think the company doesn't appreciate us, or you do too much work, and we start to feel that you're not a valuable person in the company. They don't really appreciate. Or you can have your own storm. Even at the Spirit Center, when you go there, of course, not anymore because we are not opening, but when we used to go, sometimes we workers, we are passing through a lot of troubles, and people that come to us, we always try to be nice, but sometimes maybe we didn't say good morning to someone, and that person look at us, you see, he didn't say good morning to me, or this person, is not really a good spiritist, or blah blah blah. He should be nice and should be kind, but we are all in our own. I mean, we all have our problems. So, but what I'm trying to say that all these kind of things, it's up. We are creating this storm for ourselves. There is nothing really creating externally this. So I would think we can give plenty of examples here. But we are doing this. That's what I'm trying to say more.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we have here the first one here saying to us, it's Camila. I think my storm is lack of self-confidence, self-love. Well, Camila, yeah, we can talk about a little bit about it, but this is kind of this is a material for a symposium, not just a 1 hour talk
Yep.
here.
We need to call
But-
Divaldo to help us on this, no?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Camila, I think this is kind of trouble for everyone. Let's I just want to take an opportunity to what Rodrigo said about when you break up with someone, you say, "Oh, I not let you go like easy." Again, I used to say this on my speech, but when you have this kind of behavior, my question to you is, are you really love that person? Because if you love that person, you let that person go and be happy with or without you. And then it's the trouble, because how I love someone and I know that person doesn't love me, but I let that person go to someone else just to make her happy. And then sometimes we say, "Oh, but I have enough love for me and you." And then I ask you, how could you love someone if you don't love you first? And we can use the metaphor for the airplane. When you are in the airplane, you need to put the oxygen mask. You need to put the oxygen mask first in you, then in someone else. So I think we should to learn ourselves first. We should learn to give value to ourselves. And once we love ourselves, the consequence is the self-confidence as well. I don't know. What do you think, guys?
I think self-confidence and self-love is a side effect of something. No, when you start to believe in yourself, in the small simple things. No, we always think that we need to do something big or greater to be good with us, to feel comfortable with us, and sometimes not. Sometimes it's just doing the little things. We all of us have a bad day. You just need to decide how long you're gonna keep this bad day going on your life. And then self-love is something that it's really hard to talk, because I think this is sometimes is very individual. I don't know. I can talk about myself, my self-love, my self-confidence, but it's hard to talk about someone else. No, and then, as I said, we need help to answer this. We need help. We need to go to read Joanna de Angelis. We need to read Emmanuel. We need to read the Gospel sometimes, more often. No, we need help. We have help outside. If it's not enough in Spiritism, the help that you are seeking to find this, if you are struggle to find this, go to psychologist, find a professional. Go there, talk two times, 3 times. This is gonna be a great help for yourself.
Yeah, like Debbie says, self-love takes practice. If you are not familiar with it, the more you practice, the easier it gets. I agree 100% with you, Debbie. That's a lesson, and this self-love is how, if you don't love yourself, how you going to express love to your neighbor. And these triggers make a link what we have seen a sad news over this weekend in the U.S.
Okay.
And Dan put here some riots, demonstration of violence around the country, burning downtown Chicago, some stores closed and boarding up windows and doors. National Guard in place around the country, but other than that, most of us are safe at home. Many in ongoing prayer, preparing for planetary transition. Other than that, glad you are all okay there. Dan, it's good to hear you are safe, and this is pretty sad. And it's make a real connection with our topic today. This is a storm we created. You know, we do have these in some countries, in some places more explicit, in some other places not explicit. It's like when you're doing charity. Are you doing charity because you want to get rid of that person from you, or you're doing charity because you're feeling compassionate for that person? But at the same point, how you gonna feel compassionate for someone if you don't love yourself, and you feel putting yourself in a kind of struggling moment, is in self-pity, in a victim position? That, I think that's the word. Yeah. Example like that, right? We are putting ourselves in a victim position now, but you can see on YouTube, on a newspaper, the ocean is getting clean, the air is getting clean. In Venice, they could see the bottom of the sea in Venice. So for years they don't see it. So who are the virus here? And these are all storms we cause into ourselves. These are our problems we bring into ourselves. Okay, I said too much, guys. You.
It's something nice. So when you think about what we are seeing in America now, or any kind of violence event, okay, most of the time regarding to violence, it comes back to what we were saying about self-love. A lot of people, because of their fear, because they fear something, they don't know really how to. They don't know how to deal with that new situation. They put always the worst of them outside because they don't know how to deal with that. They don't have this self-knowledge, which if they had, they would deal better. But in the end of the day, a lot of people, they, like Emmanuel says to us, humans, they are not bad. We are not bad. But a lot of us, we have this huge fear of the new, of things which are coming out to change. And unfortunately, a lot of us, we react in a bad way because we don't have the self-knowledge yet, some of us. But it's like the apostles. When you think about in the parable, the apostles, they were walking with Jesus already for 1 year, more or less, according to some historians, when that parable took place. So they've seen a lot of things which Jesus did. But still, when they were in the boat, they were saying, "Come on, master, don't you care that if you're going to pass the way?" So they were in doubt still, even after they were seeing everything which Jesus was doing with them. What I'm trying to say, we have this our own storms. We see all these situations, even knowing about Spiritism, even knowing that the things that will get better once you study Spiritist teachings. Even though if you're not Spiritist, you have other books, you have other religions, which they say that things they were going to improve. Once the tragedy comes close to us, we still have fears. We still are like the apostles. So it's fear in the end of the day. That's what I think, you know?
Yeah, I like to bring up here, before we start the live, Rodrigo was saying he like this slide from Vanderlei's speech, in which Vanderlei says a fury storms came up and then waves broke over the boat. Difficulties we will all face at certain point in life, challenges caused by our imprudent actions, lack of knowledge, but most of the time because we are still full of selfishness and pride. This it is very well written here because according to, I don't recall, I will look here and tell you. One of the questions from the spirit book is, what is the barrier? It's not exactly these words, but what does mean is, what's the barriers to not allow the human beings to evolve? And the answer was very short: selfishness and pride.
Right. Yeah.
So we need to rethink our values, our moral values, and then we need to work on. That's why Spiritism it's a perfect tool to help us to work this. When we get the gospel according to Spiritism, in which we strongly recommend you to read, it's all about the Jesus moral. No.
Stephen, like sorry, but there is one part which it's nice to say when you are talking this, the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 19, item 3. The spirits, they say, calmness during the struggles is always a sign of strength and confidence, where in the contrary, violence denotes weak and self-doubt. So again, going back to the point that if you are not really someone who knows yourself, if you are in doubt, if you are in fear, you're not going to have this calmness. You're always going to have this violent aspect and weak side aspect of you. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah. Just putting up here, guys. Debbie saying, unfortunately, it usually takes something pretty drastic for a real change to occur. Yeah. I have to believe there's a divine orchestration behind all this. Debbie, I agree with you in terms of we learn with our pain, unfortunately. But I do agree that is a divine orchestration, but the divine orchestration doesn't interfere in our free will. It's up to us. It's our responsibility. And this go straightforward to what Jesus said. I think is in Luke 17. In terms of, we don't pay for the faults of our sons. We pay for our own faults. So it's us. It's our actions. I know this hurts a lot of people because it's easy to say, "Oh, I'm suffering because God wants." It's not like that. It's something totally different. God is Father. Which father who likes to see your son suffering? I have 2 daughters. I don't want to see them suffering. And I am comparing. I cannot even be compared with anybody. But I don't like to see my daughter suffering. But sometimes fathers let the children do what they have to, like decision. Let's take as an example for us. 3 of us here. We are in Ireland, but I see we have a very good Irish accent. I know that you don't need to write about it. So clearly you can see we are not Irish. Okay, we are not Irish. But Ireland opened up the arms for us. Ireland said, okay, there are 3 little guys here. Okay, come here. Give some shelter to them. And I am so thankful for Ireland to be here and having these guys with me at the same time here. But if we think about our mom and dad, do you think that my mom, my dad, Wanderley's mom and dad, Rodrigo's mom and dad wants they to go away? I think you ask to them, 90%, they will say, no, I don't want. They are away from me. They will grow up away from me. Perhaps they will have a life, have children, and I will not be part of their life. I will not be part of my grandsons, granddaughters. I don't want to. But they allowed them to come. Sometimes, even though inside of you don't want to come, but this usually mom does. No, go. I think it's gonna be good for you. I think that's exactly what you have to do. But it's the free will. Free will, it's a natural law. And it's a natural law. It's perfect. So,
yeah, no, I just want to add something about the comment there. This is very knowing. We know this from inside out that we learn from pain. Most of the cases is just learn from pain, but we learn from the pain that somebody else caused to us. But here's the question: are we learning from the pain that we are causing to somebody else, to the others? Sometimes we are we are not victims here. Sometimes we are the ones who cause the pain to others. And are we learning from this?
yeah.
Because it's easy to say, I'm acting like this because someone did something to me at that day, at that time, because of that. But sometimes we just forget, oh, I did this to that person at that day, at that time. And are you learning? What you learning? I think that's the question. Good question, because sometimes we just think that only us are the suffering ones. We don't cause suffering to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, good point.
Are we learning from the pain that we are causing to the others? No. Maybe we are. Maybe we are not even aware that we're causing pain.
Well, it is. Yeah, sometimes we don't know,
but are we watching ourselves? Are we trying to be a good follow what Jesus have said that time to us? Watch ourselves. Watch our thoughts. No, I think it's something about the question, not the answer. But if we start questioning ourselves, what am I doing? I'm causing suffer. I'm making someone suffering because of what I said, or what I did, or what I have, what I should have done, and then I didn't. What we're doing? Take ourselves from the position of the victim to the position of the attackers. Sometimes.
Yeah, are you doing what society expects you to do, or you're doing the right thing in your mind? Because most of people, including myself, sometimes we take decisions based on, oh, I need to do this because otherwise they're gonna look at me.
You need to follow the cattle sometimes. No, you're just following the cattle, not following yourself.
Exactly. Let's see what Deb's saying here. Well, like Jesus had to die to bring about changing beliefs. Maybe this is also something that had to occur in order to change the way people believe and treat one another. We are all connected. Without a question, Debbie, we are all connected. And sometimes we need the bad moments. For example, the question here, if we don't have the the apostle Judas, who betrayed
Judas,
Jesus. Judah is in English.
Judas, yeah.
If we didn't have him, if he, let's say, if he didn't betray him at the moment, what have you stopped to say? What's gonna happen? Probably we didn't have the cross moment. Let's say what happened now if this poor guy didn't pass away because of the police violence. We have someone discussing this all this was bring up to discussion to end this, and I hope after this Floyd is the trigger to a new era for America. I know, unfortunately, he have to die, but he was the trigger to create all this union, all these common effort to resolve something. So we can say a lot of. Do you have many more example, guys? Like we sometimes we had to have someone to play as a bad guy, but that act created a beautiful thing.
Look, I'm not gonna go into the case of this man Floyd. I'm really sorry for what happened, because I mean, of course, no one can judge what's everything behind in terms of spirituality. But once you take the case of Judas, we can be sure that no one is born, as the Spirit's book says to us, to do evil or to come to this existence to suffer. We all come to progress. So Judas didn't come here to do what he did with Jesus. But of course, Jesus could read what was in his heart. So he decided using his free will to do that. If Judas didn't do what he did, there would be other ways that spirituality would find to make the example of Jesus to be remembered 2,000 years later. Because if we're taking the gospel says, the evil must come, but poor of those who brings the evil. So he's saying to us, we live in this world of expiation and trials. So suffering and pain is everywhere. But that's not to say that people, they have to born to do this. They do because of their own free will. And things, they start to happen because of the law of action and reaction. But yeah, bad things, sometimes they happen, and they're like a trigger, as you guys said. But I honestly think that no one, I'm not saying that you said that, Stephen, but no one will come with this mission. We always come to the good. Poor Judas did what he did, and for about this man Floyd, he's just a victim, of course. But who are we to say, okay, he's suffering this now because he did this or this in the previous life? Doesn't matter. If people, they come with this kind of talk because they know about Spiritism, they're using Spiritism in the wrong direction. Because Spiritism is not to be judged to say, you are suffering this, probably you did something bad in the past. Who cares? We have to help one another. I don't know if it makes sense that.
Yeah. Well, and a very good example come up to my mind now in the way Jesus acts in our life. Let's take Paul Stephen book, okay? After Paul, Saul of Tarsus saw Jesus at the Damascus gates, he was blind and he went to Damascus. And Jesus appeared to Barnabas and say, hey, look for a guy called Tarsus. So he's there and he will need you. If Barnabas said, I will go there to the guy who are killing Christians? No way.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much. Find someone else, but I will not go there.
Not even put my feet there.
Exactly. So, can you imagine? Should we have the gifts? Let's say from the all the letters that Paul wrote to us. So, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying we need the bad things. I'm just saying, unfortunately, instead of learning by love, we need these bad moments. This is, well,
We will
this,
see.
this
We
is
will
life.
see when this COVID-19 something is gone. We will see what we learned from.
Yeah.
We don't know. Now everyone say no, we wanna learn, we will learn something. The society be different, that everything gonna be different. We don't know.
Yeah.
We need to wait. So far, this pandemic now is showing to us the bad and the good part of the humanity. We cannot predict what's going to happen. So when this everything is gone, when you look back in the history, you're gonna say, look, this changed because this. When this happened because of the COVID-19, this change, this have changed. We don't know yet. We need to do our part, our best, the best that we can do today, in order to be better than yesterday. Always try. Always try. We need to always try to do. We never know.
Yeah. And then uh, just to reinforce again, let me bring here another slide from Wanderley's presentation. Like, teacher, don't you care if we drown? And Jesus used this situation as education opportunity to teach the apostle a lesson of faith, that even in calamitous situations in life, we should try to remain calm because of the certainty that God is a Father on infinite love and wisdom, the reason of faith. This is a true lesson. Okay, we are in trouble, but we need to calm down. We need to breathe. Perhaps we need to pray. Perhaps we need to slow down and have the right decision. Like Debbie, again, thank you very much, Debbie, for your support on us today. Usually we learn our lessons from the situations that we perceive as bad or uncomfortable. When everything is going great, we really aren't learning how to evolve. We get comfortable. Yeah, Debbie. Perhaps that this show how imperfect we are. Because it's okay. We don't do anything. No, like,
Finally, we got what we deserved.
yeah, exactly. So we need these times, we need this. We need to go to these troubles, and unfortunately, that's how we learn. Like, a lot of people here, I would say, yeah, this is a good question for us. Tell me, we asked that question in the previous episode, but we ask that question again. Did you come to Spiritism by love or not?
You're asking us or the people on Facebook?
Sorry?
You're asking us or the people on Facebook?
To everybody. No. You know, I know your answer. I know your answer. Mo. The three of us came by not by love,
No, not at all.
but I want to know about you who are listeners today.
Yeah.
Are you joining Cardiac Radio today? Are you joining SSI Live today because you were blind, or because you are in trouble, or because you love? Oh, I love. I want to turn on. This is how we needed to learn, and the best example is learning with someone else's mistake.
Which is difficult. Normally, we don't learn with the other mistakes.
Yeah,
We
because
have to feel in our skin. Yeah.
I no. It was bad because that person was very. He did it wrong there. I am not him. I won't make the same mistake. And then.
It's like you said last week, Stephen. When you think about the book 2,000 years ago, Publius Lentulus or Emmanuel, he was beside Jesus, and Jesus asked him, "Come on, live now this way that you are living, and avoid centuries of suffering, and come with me, or stay in the way that you want to stay, and you're gonna be suffering much longer." And he chose to be suffering. How many of us, if we were there, and they say we may say, or maybe Emmanuel was a bit silly, but I think if we were there, we'll do even worse. You know, maybe we would have to take the how you call the prego. I forgot the nail and putting the cross in Jesus' hands. You know what I mean? Like we still are in a level that we are still very immature because we fear. We don't know things yet. But that's the beautiful thing about Spiritism. It's like Kardec says in the introduction of the Gospel according to Spiritism, that Spiritism came to unveil, to make everything clear to us. So nowadays we have everything clear. But now do we want to leave the old Stephen, the old Rodrigo, and the old Vanderlei behind? I don't know if you guys want, but sometimes we say, "Oh, I want to hear in the life," but in our personal lives, we don't. No. That's a question that we have to ask ourselves. Yeah. Do we want to leave behind what we are doing and try to improve? Sometimes we're not ready. You know, some people they prefer to stay in the old ways.
Yeah. Ka saying, Ka Kemi, I want to learn more and more.
Everyone.
I agree with you. I want to learn more and more. Yes, but as much as you learn,
as much you're
going to
more you need to do.
Yeah.
More you need to put your hands on. Also, Debbie, absolutely. I am love. I am interested in learning more. I agree 100% with you guys. But when you learn, we cannot say, "Oh, I didn't know." And if you didn't know, sorry, but the music.
The orchestra behind.
Yeah. Yeah. So Roberta said, "Buy pen. I was in trouble at that time."
Good. On that time, that's good.
Well, if that time is great, if you're not in trouble now,
doing great.
Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah, it's a non-stop learning curve.
Yeah.
Because we learn something, then we need to put these hands on. Then we discover we need to learn a little bit more. And then you practice. Learn more. Practice. Learn more. Practice. Yeah. This is what we need. This is how it works. But for some reason, nobody did the homework, because if you see the measures before the Spanish flu, wear masks, avoid the social distance, all this. Hey, 100 years ago they had this, and we are having now. where we didn't learn the lesson. Why the governments didn't have a plan to 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 trigger at this point and avoid all these deaths. This is not a raise questions here, but it's we have to learn. We need to pay attention in our actions. We need to do what St. Augustine told us. He used to do a revision of our year at 31st of December, 11:59 p.m. But this is a daily task.
Yeah.
Because you don't remember. I don't remember. I don't recall what I did like 2 weeks ago. Do you think I'm going to remember something at 11:59 p.m. what I did on the 1st of January? No, I won't. So we needed to learn how to evaluate ourselves. Choose a time, pick a time of your day, during showers, when you're running, when you are at home, before you're going to bed. It's up to you. But at least spend 5 minutes. I'm not talking to you for 5 hours. I'm just talking 5 minutes. See what you have done on the past 24 hours. See if there is room for improvement. What you need to change. See if you harmed someone. And of course, if you harm someone, the next action after you finish this self-evaluation is ring that person and say, hey, I'm so sorry. If that person don't apologize to you, it's that person's problem. It's not your problem anymore. But you recognize that you have done something bad, and immediately you try to fix that. And at the same time, you need to forgive yourself. Because if you're saying, oh, I'm harmed, I did this, I did that. No, forgive yourself. So this is a lesson we need to go every day. We need to practice every day. In a way, I would say, I love about the Orient world is the meditation. I'm not a meditation guy. I just had my first experience yesterday. But it's something that if I could keep my mind quiet for 5 minutes, I'd be over the moon.
Especially with your two little ones. Yeah, 5 seconds, you will be happy.
Yeah, I'm a kind of 5 minutes. I want 5 minutes, you know? Yeah, let's see here. Kakemi, yes, and then I have to learn about forgiving myself when I make the same mistakes. That's the point, Ka. That's the point. We need to forgive ourselves. Again, it's self-love. You need to love you. I'm not talking about the selfish love. I'm talking about you like yourself. Daniela, we always have a room to improve something. Oh, something, a lot of things. Yeah.
And if you think you don't have, go looking for a psychologist.
Try again.
Or perhaps you took the wrong bus and came to Earth.
Maybe you have 2 wings and you are in the wrong planet. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Let's see. Debbie, forgiveness of self and of others is a huge part of self-love.
Yep.
We are in tune, Debbie. That's exactly. everything starts with self-love. And self-love starts with courage. And courage starts with knowledge. So when you put it here, you want to learn more. The consequence of this is self-love.
But Steve, there is something that it's always good for us to mention also, that all that you said is 100% correct, but sometimes everything starts with the goodwill. Like you know that you're doing the mistakes, you want to learn. Sometimes you don't know where to start, but you want to do something. And this time, maybe we should try to be humble and maybe get someone that we like, that we admire, maybe a colleague at work, maybe an auntie, in my case, my aunt 100%. Get someone that you like and say, look, I'm doing this. I don't know what to do. Can you maybe give me a hand? Or when you go to the Spirit Center or to any religion you may go, if you see that someone has some kind of connection with you, go and ask for that person. Hey, do you have any tips to give me? Maybe I want to do something, but I don't know what should I do. What should I read? How should I start? We have to start from somewhere. That's it.
Yeah. And now it judge as well the advice, okay? Because sometimes people can say you need to go there and slap in their face, and then you're gonna be okay. You're gonna relieve your anger. No, I always judge the advice as well. See if
of course.
at least near what you want to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can get someone crazy along the way. So go there and slap in the face there. Just think twice, okay?
Yeah, we need to. And also we do have, we have Brazil with us, Nora. Hi, Nora. How are you? So good to have you here. So we have people around the world, but it's good. Let me see if I find it here. One good way, because Wanderlei said something very, very well. Perhaps we are doing our best in order to do something, and at the end we harm someone badly. Okay, it was not our intention to harm that person, but because of our knowledge. That's a good point, Wanderlei, because our free will is limited according to our knowledge.
Yep.
Okay, what is good for me today, June the 2nd of 2020, perhaps not good for me in 2nd of June 2030. Okay,
or maybe you didn't have the information. Maybe you didn't know, as you said. Maybe now you read the book, which changed your mind, and before you didn't have that knowledge. But again, we can go back and say, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Be humble.
Yeah. And a good exercise we can do in order to know if we're doing the correct thing, if we're not doing the correct thing, it is perhaps, let me put it here, and I invite everyone to do the gospel at home. This is a perfect exercise you need to do. If you want to do every day, happy days. If you want to do this once a week, it's up to you. The frequency, it's up to you. And the gospel at home, it's here. You need like 20, 30 minutes. We start with initial prayer. Then you read enlightenment book. Could be gospel, spiritism, Bible, any book that you think is enlightened, give you a good message. Okay. After you read that, you can just do a kind of reflection about what that message applies to you in your life, in your day, in the moment, in the situation you are having. Then you, after this reflection, you do a final prayer and a prayer of gratitude. And what this makes to you? This makes you being connected with your mentor, with the superior spirits. And of course, they will always guide you, not interfering in your free will. They will guide you, they will suggest you good insights, good deeds, and it's up to you to do or not. But if you are in connection with them, you have a higher chance to succeed in your decisions. I leave here the invitation to start doing the gospel at home for you. There is a lot of websites, even though here in Cardiac Radio, there is a lot of topics about the gospel at home, but here I just put summarize what is the gospel at home and how this could help you guys. Okay, let me bring back everyone. So yeah, okay. Well, Debbie saying here, discernment. You have to be able to discern what is good, what is good information, what is not, what resonates as truth, but also that it will bring no harm. Debbie, gospel at home is the best tool to judge that. This is not no mistake way, but I would say this is a less mistake way. Okay? Okay, so we need to keep this in mind, and that speech given by Vanderlei last Sunday, which we don't broadcast the Sunday's speech, but I invite you to go to YouTube channel and Spiritism Society of Ireland channel and YouTube. You can see the speech, and that's basically. Did you forget anything about the main message of your speech, Vanderlei?
No, for me it was just to show that Jesus was trying to bring to us a lesson of faith, that we should have faith in the difficult times, that of course the corona, or if you lose someone that you love, or a break in a relationship, unfortunately it won't be the first and it won't be the last. So I need to have this raised faith. When I mean raised faith, I'm not talking about that you have to understand all the Spiritist books, but just to understand God is a Father of love. So if I'm suffering, there is something behind, because God is good. If you carry that with you, I honestly believe that's what I'm trying to carry with me every day, that when the punch of life comes to you, you're going to feel angry, you're going to feel, I don't know, really, you're going to think that God hates you in 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, you're going to say, okay, let's use my brain. Let's use my intelligence. And then you start to have that intelligence in your heart, and it starts to be a bit cooler. I believe that's the main idea of the parable, the way which I understood, of course.
Yeah, that's good one. Yeah, of course, the way that Madeleine understood is perfect as well. Yeah, but I always see the other way. I'm always seeing like the Peter or the other disciples that was in there. Even though we are learning, even though we have faith, sometimes we just, for 5 minutes, we just have some doubts. And at that passage shows that 5 minutes or 5 seconds could harm the apostles very hard. And same as it happens with in your lives. We believe, we have faith, we know where we're going, but that 5 seconds that we just forget what we learned or forget who we are can make can bring some harm to our lives. And then I just when I saw that passage, I was, if I was in that boat, I think I would be acting like Peter.
I would take Jesus. Come on, Jesus. Come on, come on.
I'm gonna be the first one to say, hey,
Yeah.
If he was talking to me, please have faith. I can have later, but now take me away
Yeah.
from here.
True.
yeah, yeah. So, and the really question to you guys, to everybody here is, how is your faith?
Yeah.
That's the good question.
Stephen, do you mind if I just, I know we are ending now.
Yeah, but 1 second. I put it here, the link for our YouTube page for the.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
No, but that when you say, when you are asking, how is our faith? Let's just remember what Emmanuel explains to us, that faith is a building. It's something that we build up day after day, reincarnation after reincarnation. We start to use our knowledge and our experiences, our life, and then we start to build our faith. We don't born with the faith of Paul of Tarsus. We don't born with the faith of Chico Xavier. No one born. Chico Xavier didn't born with that faith. Chico Xavier is a spirit which plenty of reincarnations that he lived through. That faith was being built on him because of his choices. So Emmanuel explains to us that in the stage that humanity are, to have faith is our choice also, but it's a choice that we can build inside of ourselves. You know.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a work in progress. So,
Yeah. So the question is, don't be afraid to feel to make mistake. But if you make a mistake, immediately repair that mistake. Don't let for another life to resolve that. Try to fix that mistake immediately when you identify you have done one.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, guys, thank you very much for the talk today, and please put your comments here if you like this kind of approach, if what you think about these topics. So we need to finish because it's almost 3 minutes over. So I will do the final prayer because Rodrigo did last night. Will you do it? So once again, I would like to invite everyone to raise up your thoughts, to make connection with your mentors. And I would like to invite everyone to pray for our neighbor. To pray for those people who are close to us, and those who are far away from us, and we even don't know that person. Let's pray for those anxiety hearts. Let's pray for those stressed hearts, sick hearts. Let's pray for that starving hearts. Let's pray for the world. May this prayer reach every single person, every single heart. And may Jesus provide to them the inspiration to overcome the barriers, to overcome the difficulties. May these inspirations reach all the leaders of the world, every country, every nation. May this prayer reach those hearts who are thinking about suicide. May this prayer reach the spiritual world, its level. May this prayer reach you, Master Jesus, with our thank you for this opportunity. So be it. Amen. Okay, guys. Thank you all. Thank you very much for your time. We need to close the bridge because it's time to prepare the bed here in Ireland. Okay, so guys, I'll see you next week. Thank you very much.
See you guys. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.